Welcome to toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to toy-polloi and part 3 of my Tokyo toy hunting videos. Now you'll have seen in parts 1 and 2 that I went to a few different areas around Tokyo, including Akihabara and Nakano Broadway, and I found quite a few interesting pieces. Well, today we are heading a bit more into the suburbs to hit 2 different hobby-offs. The first hobby-off we are going to go to is one in Kokubunji. It's a little bit outside of the sort of central Tokyo and a bit harder to get to, which generally means you'll find better things there. So let's take a good look around this first hobby-off. About 20 minutes away from Kokubunji by car is a place called Hanakogane, and it's actually the place that I first went to a hobby-off, and it's the one that I like the best. Every time I seem to go to this hobby-off, I find something new and I find something interesting. So we went to that one as well. Let's take a look around. As always with Hobby Off, it's a little bit hit and miss as to what you find, but I really do enjoy just the challenge and the rummage that you get there. There are so many things to see. And in the second Hobby Off at Tahana Koganei, this is one of the first things that I saw. They have racks and racks of things just sort of hanging up, and right in the corner was this, and this is G5 Hound's Tank from Gatchaman or Battle of the Planets. It was on sale for 2,000 yen, I think, so that's about 11 quid, and it's a sort of part die-cast, part plastic vehicle. It is missing loads of pieces, but I don't have this in my collection, and I think it's one that over time I should be able to rebuild. This is Tiny's vehicle. If you watch Battle of the Planets in the UK, it has this sort of front section that opens up to reveal more bits inside. There's missile launchers on the top and this little dome where he's supposed to sit. It's got bits missing, as I say. The back section is missing, it's missing the tracks, but you don't see it that often, and even at £11 that is a pretty good value piece to find. You can find these here in the UK because a lot of these toys were released sort of in the early 80s, but they're still not particularly common, so even at sort of £11 I was very pleased to find that. Next up, I went a little bit episode 1 crazy. I really do like the episode 1 sort of era figures. In fact, that was the last line of Star Wars toys that I actually bothered to collect every single figure from. And there are a few of them that I really do like, and some that are a little bit harder to find than others. And while we were searching around a few of these sort of racks of toys, I came across an R2B one. So this is a Japanese issue version of R2B1 on an episode 1 card. It cost 300 yen. So let me show you that on my conversion card here. That is £1.67. And this is probably my favourite figure from episode 1. I think it's the best version of an R2 droid that they have done in many, many years. It's very simple, but has so many sort of things that are the same as the original Kenner figure. So it's got a chromed dome there and doesn't have a middle leg. It's just a really simple figure. And I think it's probably my favourite of all of the R2 figures that they've released over the years. It comes with this little sort of harness thing, or power harness, and obviously the Comtech chip. But as I say, this is the Japanese card, so if you turn it over on the back, you can see it's got stickers to show different bits of information. And these were released by Tomy in Japan. So I picked that up because it was so cheap, as I say, £1.67. And then found another one, so I grabbed that as well. It's same price, so I got 2 R2B ones, and then guess what? Found another one, so I grabbed that as well. So I picked up 3 R2B ones, which may seem crazy to some people, but I just think this is a fantastic figure, and they do seem pretty hard to find at the moment. I'm sure now that episode 1 has reached its sort of 25-year anniversary, all of these figures will start to be sort of recollected by people who were the right age at that time. So there you go, I picked up 3 R2B ones. Then there were even more figures around, so I also picked up an R2D2. This is pretty much the sort of same style of figure. I just don't think this is as nice an R2 droid because it has that little gimmick in it where the boosters come out. But the thing you'll find with this era of R2D2 is it goes yellow very easily. This one's not too bad. The internal bits have started to go yellow, but actually it's not a bad figure. And again, that was 300 yen, so I couldn't leave that one behind. And then there were even more episode 1 figures. So I picked up this one, which is TC-14, the protocol droid. Another really nice figure, and one that you don't see as often as some of the other episode 1 figures. And again, it was 300 yen. So all of these figures were £1.67 each. So it's less than £10 for 5 original episode 1 figures, all on card, and they're all on Japanese cards. I just couldn't leave any of those behind. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to end up doing with these. I think some of them I may open because the cards, certainly on the R2B ones, are a little bit battered. As I say, it is a figure I like. I do think I have pretty much all of the episode 1 figures now in some sort of state, but there's maybe a couple that I need to sort of refine or get better versions of. So yeah, this was my haul from those 2 hobby offs. It may not be the sort of thing that you would expect to find in Japan. You know, normally I go for Japanese toys, but I just couldn't resist grabbing all of these episode 1 figures. Now, it's not just vintage toys that I keep an eye out for. There are lots of modern toys around, and there are loads of shops, including things like Toys R Us and Labby and Big Camera, that sell all sorts of modern toys, and I do tend to pop into those as well just to see what's available. And I really like the Japanese Licca doll. Now, Licca is the sort of equivalent of Barbie or Cindy that we would have had here in the UK. It is the Japanese sort of doll that's been around for many, many years, and there are so many different versions of her about. And while I was walking down the aisle of those, I saw this, which is a sort of Space Cadet version of Licca, and I had to grab it because I really do like sort of space related toys. I thought this was absolutely fantastic. So you get her in a sort of training overalls. She's got a pair of Converse type shoes and a little sort of training manual there. I am going to open this at some point, but for the moment I'm just enjoying it in its packet. I really like the sort of the simplified little spaceship that you have on the front. It's just a nice little figure, and again, I don't think this was much more than about £12. They're really reasonably priced, as sort of dolls for kids should be. So I grabbed that, and then as well as that, there are loads and loads of gachapon machines. I've shown those in previous videos. Those are machines where you put in a few hundred yen, turn the handle, and a ball comes out with a little toy in it, and they are themed across all sorts of things. And in fact, over the years I bought many things from sort of Ultraman, Godzilla, Transformers, all sorts of things come in these gachapon toys. And there was a liquor themed one. And so I grabbed a couple of them. In fact, we managed to grab a whole set, but I'm just going to open you one here because this was what was inside those gachapon machines. You get a tiny little liquor doll in a packet. I think this is absolutely fantastic because this is the sort of thing that you can hang with your toys. You know, it's sort of Action Man size. So here we have a very tiny little liquor doll in a packet. It's not actually a doll, it's sort of printed on plastic just to give it a slight 3D effect. But I thought these were so good, so I bought a whole load of these to try and get the full set of 4. In fact, we bought some for a good friend of ours, Jolly Dolly Shop, as well, so she will be getting some of these to add to her collection. Over the years of going to Tokyo, I've met some really lovely people, and I have to say one of the nicest people I have met is Yuichi, better known as Toy Cats. He used to have a shop in Kitajoji, but sadly that is no longer there. But I still meet up with him every year and still meet up with him and his family, and we always have a great time, and we always do a trade, and this time was no exception. I took a load of bits that I knew that he wanted, and he has sorted out some wonderful things for me. So let's take a quick look at some of the bits that he's sorted out for me. I've got a little set of notes here because some of these I can't remember the names of, and all microman figures have different names, so I'll be referring to my notes for a lot of these. But this is the first sort of stuff that we traded. Actually, on the first day that we met up with Yuichi, he gave me this, which was a birthday present, because this year I turned 50, and he very kindly gave me these, which is a set of microman cards from the 70s. I've never seen these before, and they are absolutely fantastic. Each card has this image on the front, but he said they're sort of quite a rare thing to find, and I do actually collect some trading cards. So this is going to go straight with those. A really unique piece, not necessarily toys, but it does have toys on the front of it. So that was a little birthday present from him, a really kind thing, so thanks for those. And then we have a selection of microman figures, and one little oddity at the end, which I'll get to in a minute. So I collect microman and micronauts, as you know, and so Yuichi is probably the best person to talk to about microman. He has a huge collection and he knows pretty much everything there is to know about microman, and he traded me these. So let's pick up a couple here. So this one, in the UK this was released as the Space Glider, although the UK version is slightly different. It has a chest piece and has a rivet on the back, but this is a pretty cool figure because this is all metal apart from his hands, and he's a sort of die cast figure, and these little wings on the back ping out. So if you press the button on the back, those should flip open. He's got this little blue helmet. I don't actually have this one, so that's a really cool figure to have. I think he's an M21 version of figures. All micronauts, as I say, have names, and they also have numbers. Then we have these 3 guys at the front, which are the M12 versions of micronauts from 1975. The red guy is called Jason, the blue guy is called Michael, and the yellow guy is called Max. They're all basically the same figure, just in different colours, and they're just really cool ones. These I don't think were ever released in the UK, not this sort of style of them. It's just nice. He's got some sort of 70s flares on, so those are fantastic. Then at the back we have this one, which is Bobby. So this is an M11 from 1975. All of the waves of figures, their names will be Bobby or Barry, or so they all follow the name. So these ones were all M related. This series, this one is Bobby. There's another one called Blackie. I think they're just sort of fantastic that they are done like that. I need to find a few little stickers for some of these. They're missing a few stickers, but I'm going to make that a little project that I work on. I have a sticker sheet, so I'm going to scan that in and make new reproduction of stickers to finish all of those off. Then we have this guy at the back, which is a police keeper. He's from 1978. I think this guy's name is Aaron. I've only got reissue versions of these. They come with a very unique case which has a little sort of pinging thing on one side with a tiny little figure in it, and you ping it and the figure fires up and down. I've shown it in some previous videos, but yeah, this is a actual vintage original one. He's missing his weapon. There should be a weapon that sort of fits in the back there, goes around to his hand. But it's a lovely figure. I've never had that one before. He also gave me a whole load of these stands, which are very useful because these figures do tend to fall over. So he gave me a whole pack of these stands, and also a little microman keyring, which I've it hasn't been opened, so I've not opened it yet, but I think I will. It's a sort of winged device. I guess you can clip it on the back of a figure and then you can have that as your keyring. It's pretty cool and pretty unique. But the weirdest one he gave me was this, which is a sort of die-cast metal Superman, which as far as I'm aware is from 1979, made by a company called the Marx Company, which is a sort of subsidiary of Takara. It is a little bit broken. It's got one of its hands missing, although I do happen to have the hand. He's got a die-cast metal body, and I think the feet are die-cast. They certainly feel it. And then plastic arms and a plastic sort of chrome-plated head. A very Micronaut and Microman in style, as you can see, with that sort of chrome-plated head. I know very little about this, so I'm going to have to do some research, and I will also give him a little bit of a repair. I can see that the hand has broken off and someone has super glued it at one point, but I reckon we can repair that a lot better and get that all fixed up. So that's going to be a little mini project. It's certainly a very unique figure. He actually gave me a few other pieces, so let me clear the desk and I'll show you those. So next up we have this little bag of goodies, and these are outfits for henshin cyborgs and shonen cyborgs. Those are the clear plastic figures that I actually showed you in a previous video. We have a few different outfits here. We have the basis of one of the outfits for King Walder. It's got his boots there, his chest plate and his helmet. What a freaky looking helmet that is. Yuichi said that he actually had the gloves in his lockup, and at some point he will sort out the gloves for me. So this goes on the 12-inch version of King Walder. I think I'm actually going to repurpose an Action Man to fit this onto. I've got a few spare Action Man bodies. I think it's going to look quite good. I may even end up painting the body so it's sort of black and make him look properly evil, but that's going to be a fun little project. And then we have this, which is for the Shonen Cyborg. The Shonen Cyborgs are the smaller versions, the sort of the childlike versions, and this is a little outfit here. This is the full outfit, so you get a rubber suit that goes on the main figure, little helmet there, we've got a chest plate, a couple of boots and some hands. With the Shonen figures and the Henshin Cyborgs, you can pull the arms and the heads off and the sort of the legs off, and when you put these outfits on you don't actually need the hands, so you pull the hands off. You don't need the feet because the feet are replaced by these boots, so you can use the remains of figures to make a display. In fact, I'll bring over one here. So this is the remains of this is actually a UK version of a cyborg, but you can see bits of it are missing. So I'm missing arms and legs, but you don't need the feet on this one, because what happens when you put the suit on, you just put his boots on like that, and those become his feet. Likewise with the hands. It's a pretty cool way of dressing up a figure. So I'm going to find the remains of a Shonen Cyborg, which I'm sure I have. I'm going to put that outfit on that. So that is a really nice thing to have. As well as these, he also gave me this, which was a book about the TV magazine that he grew up with in Japan. And it's absolutely chock full of pictures of all the sort of TV shows and things that went on through the 60s, 70s and 80s, including Masked Rider, Kamen Rider. We've got Mazinga in here. There's definitely Microman stuff. It's just a fantastic book, and I'm going to be browsing this for many evenings. I can't read any of the information, but that's why we have Google Translate, so I'm going to be sort of translating it as I go. But it's just the images. It's so jam-packed full of really cool pictures like that. It's just a fantastic thing to look at, and the sort of thing that you can study for hours. So there you go, that's all of the bits that I traded with Yuichi Toy Cats. And if you do ever get to go to Japan at some point, he's hoping to have a shop open up again, so do check that out. I'm going to put a link to his Instagram account in the description. You can contact him via that, and he does have a website as well where he sells stuff. He's just a very knowledgeable guy about vintage figures, especially Microman and cyborgs, and he's a lovely guy to chat with. And so every time we go, I really look forward to meeting up with him and his family, and we will be seeing him again next year. So there we go, that is it for this series of videos on this year's Tokyo toy hunting. We had an absolutely fantastic time. There were so many things to see, and as you can see, I bought some really weird and wonderful things. I traded for some really weird and wonderful things, and it was lovely to meet up with our friends out there in Tokyo and just have a general catch up. Hopefully we will be going back next year, and then I will be able to find even more strange toys to add to my collection. But as you can see, I've got a whole load of things that I now need to find places to display. If you've enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell to be notified each time I upload a new video. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then why not think about becoming a Patreon or YouTube channel member. You get early access to all of my restoration videos, and also access to an exclusive series called On the Cutting Mat, where I show restorations that you won't see anywhere else. So have a think about that, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching Toy-Polloi. Subscribe for more great videos.